What would you say about a place where traditions don't just shape lives, they dictate them? Imagine being a young girl, barely out of childhood, and stepping into a week-long training meant to prepare you for the rest of your life as a wife. A world where your worth is measured by how well you can manage a household, serve a husband, and follow rules that have been passed down for generations. Does it sound archaic? Or does it feel like stepping into a cultural story from another time? This isn't fiction. This is Mozambique. It's a country teeming with surprises, beautiful, puzzling, and at times, troubling. Known for its stunning coastlines and vibrant wildlife, Mozambique holds secrets that few outsiders understand. One of the most astonishing is the existence of wife training classes, a practice that, for many, defines what it means to grow up as a woman in this part of the world. But why do these classes exist? What exactly happens in them? Are they empowering traditions or relics of a patriarchal past? To uncover the answers, we must dig deeper, exploring not just the classes themselves, but the cultural and historical backdrop of a country where every tradition has a meaning, and every meaning has a story. Mozambique's wife training classes are more than just a curiosity. They're a lens through which we can understand the soul of a nation. In Mozambique, traditions aren't just celebrated, they're a way of life. And few traditions are as deeply rooted or widely practiced as wife training classes. These aren't ordinary classes in a school or a community center. They are rituals, held in spaces away from prying eyes, where young girls are taught what it takes to be an ideal wife. So, what happens during these sessions? For about a week, girls learn everything from practical skills like cooking and cleaning to more abstract lessons about managing emotions and respecting their future husbands. They're taught how to behave in a marriage, how to maintain harmony in the household, and how to fulfill roles that have been defined by generations of women before them. For many families, these classes are a source of pride. Mothers who once participated in them now send their daughters, believing it will prepare them for life. It's not just about marriage, it's about maturity, responsibility, and readiness for adulthood. The girls who undergo this training are often seen as desirable for marriage, and proposals sometimes follow swiftly after their return home. Yet, behind the reverence for this tradition lies a series of complex questions. Are these lessons truly for the benefit of the girls, or are they tools to perpetuate rigid gender roles? Is the idea of the perfect wife a cultural ideal or a limitation imposed on young women before they have a chance to explore their own potential? The answers aren't simple. For the communities that uphold this tradition, wife training classes are a point of pride, a way to preserve their cultural identity in a rapidly changing world. For critics, they are a stark reminder of how societal expectations can confine individuals. But regardless of the perspective, the practice continues, woven into the fabric of life in Mozambique. To understand wife training classes, we must step back and look at Mozambique as a whole, a country where culture and history intertwine to create a society unlike any other. Mozambique is not just a nation, it's a mosaic of languages, traditions, and beliefs that reflect its rich and tumultuous past. This diversity begins with its languages. Over 80 are spoken across the country, many of them part of the Bantu language family. These indigenous tongues carry the stories and wisdom of countless generations. Meanwhile, Portuguese, the language of Mozambique's colonial rulers, remains the official tongue and is spoken primarily in urban areas. Along the coast, Swahili blends with local dialects, a reminder of Mozambique's historical role in Indian Ocean trade. Each language, each word, is a thread in the tapestry of a culture that has survived colonialism, civil war, and poverty. But Mozambique's history is written in more than just its languages. Look at the national flag, and you'll see a story in symbols. An AK-47 rifle for defense, a book for education, a hoe for agriculture, and a star for unity. Each element represents a piece of Mozambique's identity, shaped by struggle and resilience. It's a country that has fought hard to preserve its sovereignty and its culture, even in the face of immense challenges. It's within this context that traditions like wife training classes have endured. These practices are not isolated. They are part of a broader cultural framework that values community, respect, and continuity. They reflect a society where survival often depends on unity and where traditions provide a sense of stability in an unpredictable world. Yet, Mozambique is also a country in transition. Its population is young, the average age is just over 17, and globalization is bringing new ideas and influences. For young people, especially girls, the clash between tradition and modernity is both an opportunity and a challenge. How do you honor your heritage while embracing a future that looks very different from your past? For every tradition upheld, there is a challenge to its relevance. Wife training classes are no exception. In Mozambique, organizations advocating for women's rights have raised concerns about these practices, questioning their impact on young girls. Are they empowering or limiting? Do they prepare girls for life, or do they trap them in roles defined by outdated expectations? There's no denying that these classes often lead to early marriages, a reality that carries its own risks. For many young brides, access to education ends with their training. Opportunities shrink, and they become locked into a life that leaves little room for personal ambition or choice. Yet, efforts to challenge these practices face resistance. Traditions are deeply rooted in Mozambican society, and many see them as sacred. Changing them is not as simple as raising awareness. It's about navigating the fine line between respect for culture and advocacy for progress. Some local leaders and organizations have started to bridge this gap. By incorporating education about health, self-worth, and equality into the training, they aim to modernize the tradition without erasing its cultural significance. It's a slow process, but one that offers hope for the future. Mozambique is a land of contrasts, and the wife training classes are just one of its many fascinating traditions. To truly understand this country, you must also look at its other customs, some uplifting, others more troubling. Take, for example, the belief in bold men as symbols of fortune, or the darker practices tied to superstitions about albino individuals. These stories reflect a society shaped by folklore and survival, where rituals and customs are often a way of making sense of the world. And yet Mozambique is not defined solely by its challenges. It is a place of stunning natural beauty, from the coral reefs of Quirimbas National Park to the rich biodiversity of its forests. It's a land where vibrant music like marabenta tells stories of resistance and resilience, and where every meal spicy peri-peri chicken, zesty matapa, offers a taste of history and heritage. In every corner of Mozambique, you'll find stories that challenge your understanding of culture and tradition. Wife training classes are but one chapter in this complex narrative, a tradition that fascinates, divides, and demands reflection. Mozambique's wife training classes are more than just a practice. They're a symbol of the tension between tradition and change. They provoke questions about identity, progress, and the role of women in society, questions that have no easy answers. But perhaps that's what makes Mozambique so compelling. It's a country that invites you to see the world differently, to step into its stories and grapple with its complexities. What do you think? Are traditions like these a treasure to preserve or a practice to challenge? If this story intrigued you, share your thoughts in the comments. Do you know of similar traditions elsewhere? Let us know. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Together, we can uncover more untold stories from around the world. Until next time.